Chris, I need some assistance today. I'm a little bit ornery because the folks around here have decided that the day before Valentine's Day is a company holiday, and basically football ends, and then a lot of people sort of just said, I'm not going to work today. So I'm genuinely grateful that Greg Cody and Jeremy and Tony rushed into the breach here in order to help us on a Friday. But I've got on my hands in Greg Cody somebody who appears to be, from everything I can tell, a very reluctant love guru. And I cannot have the love guru be reluctant. You got to be enthusiastic about being the love guru. We're going to debut Greg Cody as the love guru in the second hour of the show today. And he doesn't seem to really want to do it. Like, I don't know whether he lacks confidence or what's happening, but Tony, you've seen a reluctant love guru.
I have. He's been treading his feet a little bit, trying to get back there and do, his love dungeon back there. If I can say love dungeon, Greg, I don't know if you feel good about that.
Baby.
But you got to be sexy, right? Like, that's the thing.
I exude that. I don't have to manufacture it. It's natural. It's chicks dig my sense of humor, quite frankly. We used to say chicks dig back in the day. I don't mean
still plays.
anything
You're good.
It still plays. Okay. But, listen,
Were you afraid that you're going to get canceled for saying chicks dig? You're
scared.
We used to say that. Did you get scared? The love guru needs to play unafraid. It can't be reluctant and afraid. You got to choose one.
Okay, chicks dig it. They do. And look, I don't know if you guys have ever figured this out. The word romance begins and ends with R-E. What are the middle initials of the name Greg?
That is a stretch.
Do you think that's a compromise?
Wow, that's a stretch.
Is
just
that a coincidence?
take us through this again here. Just take us through again what you just did.
Romance begins with the letters R and E. At the heart of the name Greg are the letters R and E. Coinky dink? I don't think so. I've lived my whole life as a loving man. It's not for nothing. Look, the world is more populated than it otherwise would have been because of my seed. Now, I'm not bragging.
Well, that's true, actually.
He's right about that.
Seed always a good phrase.
No, but what he's saying is factually, mathematically accurate. The world is indeed more populated because he has sperm.
Right.
Well, twice.
And use it.
Well, yeah.
Can we set the over-under on babies? We already got one. I'm thinking like 21 and a half.
In an hour, we debut the love guru. He's not going to be reluctant, right? Because everyone's noticed already this reluctancy, and I don't understand it entirely. No. I think this is a winner. You giving love advice. We're taking calls, and callers are asking love questions because they want to go to an authority on how to properly dispense love so that their seed can also perhaps go to creating a world that has more people in it.
I am the man for the job. I'm going to be coming strong.
All right. He's on it, baby.
Basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots. A dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back.
I don't know if Greg Cody has an answer to this question, but there is something that he does, that he's done the entire time that I have known him, that expresses just a general disregard and disrespect for anything someone else is saying. And it's when he literally gives you the back of his hand. Like, he says whatever, and the back of his hand gets flicked at you. He's done it all the time I've known him, when he's just done with whatever you're saying. And I saw Tony do it here recently because there was some sound from Spo playing in the other room, and Tony gave the back of the hand to the sound. It was just video. Spo's not here. And he's like, I know a mediocre team. I can smell a mediocre team. I don't care about your words. I know what a mediocre team smells like. So I'm going to play that sound here in a second for the audience of Spo saying what the dangers are if the Miami Heat get to the playoffs, because he's threatening that they're going to make some noise. That's what he's doing. Even though I think, is it the last time we saw them in the playoffs? They got to Cleveland and they lost in 4 games, and the last of them was the worst playoff loss by points anyone's ever seen.
Right. Different team.
And it is a different team. Yes, they've got if it plays, if its players play. But this is the part that I wanted to get into with Cody. I am now old enough somehow, as are you, that the basketball all-star game and the Pro Bowl no longer matter. Like, they're just not, they're parties, but they are irrelevant. The Pro Bowl was played last week, and we didn't mention it. It didn't get a mention around here. And now the NBA All-Star game, they go into this weekend with the games from last night, which were an abomination. As everyone in media content is taking this period of time and doing now to basketball what they used to do to baseball as soon as football ended. How do we fix baseball? It became the conversation point the moment football disappeared. But now it's, how do we fix basketball? And I want to talk specifically about what happened last night. So you've got the streaming services are now, they're paying for this slop. They got 3 games last night. The first is your defending champions against Milwaukee. And here's how they advertise it with the guys they're putting on the marquee. It's Chet Holmgren and it's Miles Turner. No one told them Miles Turner not playing tonight. So it's Bobby Portis and them boys going after the defending champions. But OKC's trying so little, they lose by 17 at home because they're not playing anybody. So the defending champions lose by 17 at home. Then it's Portland, Utah. No reason to watch that for any reason. Utah's just fined $500,000 because they're not trying. And then the late game is LeBron and Dallas, and Cooper Flagg is not there, and Luke is not there. But LeBron is playing, and he's assisting and scoring on the first 23 points of the game because he's legitimately the only star in the sport playing last night.
I know how to help this sad basketball. Maybe if you talk about it with this music, it sounds better.
Well, he's playing live.
It's already working.
People are going to be shocked this weekend when he comes out. John Tesh, he's got to be over 70, and he blows the nipples off of everybody in the NBA because he's going to be the only one trying.
Say those names again, though. Bobby Portis. It makes me happier, though. You put this
AJ Green played 37 minutes, Dano. You also missed Donovan Clingan being the lead scorer for the Trailblazers. You also missed Dieng being the lead scorer for the Bucks. And LeBron had a triple-double last night, Dano.
Oldest man ever with a triple-double.
I understand why it is everyone is talking about, oh, my God, what's happening in this league. To me, it feels like it's happened fast. I guess it hasn't happened fast, right? The NBA All-Star Game has been losing relevancy, at least in part because the guys aren't actually trying. The Pro Bowl loses relevancy because the guys aren't trying. Nick Wright is getting a take-off that gets people to try when he says, just make the All-Star Game black guys against white guys. Then you will get everyone to try. That's what we have to do in order to get them to try. Create a midseason tournament that gets them extra money and just ignite the race wars.
Unity by division, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of what they're doing now. It's not black against white, but it's U.S. against the world. I mean, they're trying to...
We need more of that, I think, right? Don't have enough of that in the world right now.
Exactly.
U.S. against
Unity
the world.
by division, Dan.
Right. That's pretty much what it is, U.S. against the world.
Well, let's talk division, see if this helps. All right, go ahead. Talk about it.
Thank you for getting us that sound. John Tesh gave it to us. We have trouble with, royalty-free music around here. You may have noticed that our music got a lot worse around here, but he gave us this song, and so you should play it as much as you can today and see if we could get people excited. But how do you feel if you're Peacock last night and you're throwing out there OKC? You're throwing out there OKC against Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's winning by 17 at OKC because OKC's not playing anybody. Like, how do you feel about that headed into the All-Star break? The whole conversation around this sport has become about who's not trying instead of about who is.
Yeah, and as a microcosm, the shooting thing is now 4 people. The slam dunk contest
The
is
three-point contest?
Is,
The
no.
shooting thing?
No,
What is the shooting thing?
I should have been more specific there.
I know, that's why I got scared. I was
What
like,
is the shooting thing?
Okay, the slam dunk contest is what I meant.
So that's
That's
not
what
the
you meant.
shooting thing. It's the
now-
dunking
You
thing.
could have
4
given me
people.
100 guesses what you meant.
It's now 4 people, and none of them are people associated with acrobatic dunks that you'd want to watch.
I don't actually want to talk about the irrelevance of the All-Star game. The more macro conversation I want to have is, are you guys not stunned that a couple of days after football, we're now doing the how do you fix basketball conversation as a national topic when that used to be what was happening to baseball as it got less interesting and more regional, and everyone realized, the reason the All-Star games don't matter is because you're making the regular season the exhibitions. Because Spo's saying things like this, okay? If it's even the Heat organization can't get its players on the floor so that Spo is saying this about the present amalgamation of Simone Fontecchios and Miles Gardners they're throwing out there as they all play exhibition basketball for 82 games. And everyone is just sitting here trying to get healthy to the games that actually matter. Here's Spo talking about, the Heat's record isn't what you think it is.
We've had some really tough losses where we've played really well. You know, that's the untold story about this. You are ultimately what your record is, but we feel differently about that. Our defense is shaping up. That's getting a whole lot more consistent. And then offensively, I think when we get our guys back, I think we're going to be a really dangerous offensive team. When we can be 4th in the league in scoring with, large parts of our rosters on the sideline. Just wait till, we get our guys back into the fold.
Just wait.
Just wait till Tyler Hero, who's played 11 games, ends up showing up here and helping us again.
I got to do a tutorial on that thing. You got to start. It's a flourish move. You start down here and then you go up
The thing where we have audio audience so that they might not see what
The
you're
shooting
doing.
thing, Dan.
You're talking about
the dismissive hand wave.
The
There it is.
dismissive back of your hand.
Yeah.
You give people the back of your hand. Is that not, Jeremy, can you look up for me, please, the origins of the back of the hand as a dismissal? Because I believe that that's something, to give someone the back of the hand, I think is something that goes back a ways, and Greg Cody has perfected it. When he wants to dismiss you, he does it with the back of the hand. Tony, you're dismissing what Spo is saying with the back of your hand?
I just feel like I get what he's saying. Like, yeah, if everything broke right, we could be a decent team in the East that's already hurt and injured and depleted across the board. But that's not what's happened. And he said you are what your record indicates, but hopefully we can get our players back, whatever. That's hope trafficking, right? It feels like somebody from the Heat organization is just off camera with some sort of weapon telling him, like, you better say something nice about this team.
Well, he knows he's also playing with the numbers, too, because 4th in the league in scoring isn't the way people are doing it. They play a pace right now that makes them 4th in the league in scoring. They're 17th in offensive rating.
But they are 10th in net rating because their defense is really good. And look, it's all limited sample sizes because these guys all haven't played together. But the starting lineup that they've gone to of Mitchell, Powell, Larson, Wiggins, and Adebayo, they've only played 75 minutes together, but their net rating is plus 32.5. And when you play Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware, and Tyler Hero as a 3-man group, only 54 minutes, but they're plus 17. So Spo's got to be looking at what the combination of his 8 or 9-man lineups can be and be saying, hey, if these guys are out there, we're good.
Yeah, the problem with that is they're having all these close games against teams that are also not trying, and so they're going to be healthy in the playoffs too when your guys are healthy and you're fighting for your life in the play-in round.
They also beat healthy Oklahoma City and healthy Detroit. like full rosters.
They
for
lost
what it's
to
worth.
Utah at home.
Yeah, but that's been the Heat for how many years? Like, that was the same team that went to the finals, did the same shit.
Well, the Heat are madly inconsistent. They haven't had a 2-game winning streak since late December. I mean, they're just not on any sort of a run. And the starting point to what Spo said should have been, hey, Tyler Hero's had a lost season. We can't depend on it. Has he even played 10 games?
11.
11. It's a lost season for arguably their best scorer.
This is the part, though, that you can't do with all of this mixing and matching of nonsense. Please stop telling me how good their defensive rating is when they haven't been playing Tyler Hero, which is part of why their defensive rating is so good. Every time he comes back, their defensive rating is no longer good because he's one of the worst defensive players in the league. The larger thing, though, that we're talking about here that stretches out the customer in a way that causes indifference, you can't make it 82 games that don't matter. It can't be 82 games of irrelevant because everyone is just trying to make sure that they're as healthy as they can be when the actual games really matter. You can't keep asking paying customers to go in there and watch just the Heat's uniforms because this is what's happening all over the league. That Milwaukee team that I'm watching last night win against the defending champions by 17. I'm watching something that feels like a minor league game. It feels like something that's stuck in the purgatory between G League and when people in the NBA are really trying.
The single reason that I'm a football guy is not that I find the sport more entertaining or more fun to watch than basketball or hockey. It's that the stakes you talk about. 82 games is too many, even when you're not tanking. 82 games is too many. And the NBA, I feel like the NBA waved a white flag and said, we're desperate a few years ago when they started the in-season tournament. Gimmicks like that are just screaming that we know our fans are getting bored because the season's too damn long.
Well, Greg, we have another gimmick on the way, which is now the play-in tournament for the seeding of the lottery. Right, so if you're a bad tanking team, they're talking about having another tournament now at the end of the season to win that tournament to then get better seeding in the lottery.
Those loser tournaments are always fun.
One of the things that is now being suggested as a solution as everyone tries to fix what is an obvious problem is just eliminate the draft. I don't believe that will happen because it allows them to fix their costs. I don't think that the league actually wants all their owners bidding on Cooper Flag because then all of a sudden they will have one reckless owner who gives way too much money and then they will have finances they can no longer control. The draft allows them to fix their costs with their young people and get value, and OKC gets to just trap its people in OKC. You can't leave. We've got you under contract. It's a great move for OKC to be able to stay in the game. I should mention that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is actually hurt, which I believe is the larger problem, right? Everyone's talking about tanking, but it's clear that the way that this sport is now being played and the ground that these human beings are being asked to cover with their limbs and their tissue and all of these body parts that are being asked to cover more ground, it's clear that the sport, it's breaking its players. Like it's physically breaking its players in a way that not even football seems to be physically breaking its players.
And I get it. You're bigger, faster, stronger in this decade, in this generation than ever. But like those guys played 82 games also, and you would see these huge knee pads and elbow pads and all these big things, and they would gut through it. But just where's the disconnect from then to now?
You know where we started with baseball? It was when guys started throwing 100 miles an hour on every pitch and getting Tommy John. And so all of a sudden there were innings limits on starting pitchers. And we said, oh, but Greg Maddux and Pedro Martinez, all these guys used to throw 300 innings. Why didn't it matter? Because they trained differently, because they weren't specialized from a young age with the wear and tear on the specifics of those muscles. They were playing different sports. Basketball, Jason Tatum was like made in a lab. Dude has been doing the same workouts on his body since he was 12 years old. And so what started happening? The same wear and tear on the muscles of these athletes who were bigger, stronger, faster than ever. The skill may be higher, but the wear and tear is worse.
And now we're mandating that players play 65 games in the NBA just to be award eligible. Some of these guys have to play hurt and limp just to get to 65 games because forget playing 75 games anymore. If you're an average player in this grind, this continuous grind, it's tough to reach 65.
There's something that's happening here, though, that's corrosive, okay? At this point, the phrase load management, think about what that phrase is meant to mean and how pejorative it actually is, right? Load management is meant to tell everybody we're trying to keep these physical specimens so that they are maximized when the playoffs start, which is when we're all playing for real, our very best. Now load management is a bit of a slur, right? All you have happening is all these teams are simply telling you, yes, the 82 games don't matter anymore the way that the playoff games matter. We have to make sure that everyone is in the best physical shape by the time the first playoff games are being played, because everything before that is made for television exhibition. I don't believe that the basketball player doesn't care. These people are fighting over money. People who are fighting over money tend to care about making sure they get that money. Their organizations are not rewarding them for not caring. So you have a perception problem. They don't care when that's not what's happening. They're physically breaking.
Speaking of load management, the Love Guru is going to tell you a little bit about load management next hour.
I love this. I already love it.
I'm just saying, baby.
That's two.
I don't know if he's going to have a lot of moves other than the baby. Get me the James Harden sound here, please, so that I can this is part of the problem, right? They've got a bit of a contaminant here. There's not much of anything you can do if you're going to hit the player with either he doesn't care or he only cares about money. Those two things can't fit together, right? Because if you care about the money, you're going to be playing. And I know James Harden has a reputation of, he doesn't care that much. But at the very least, that dude plays all the time. Like he's rarely out. He likes to play basketball. And here's James Harden just telling you, he's saying the quiet part out loud. And we generally don't like this part of sports. We want it to be the playpen. We want it to be pure. We want it to be innocent. We want competitive to be the thing that matters. The reason that you get the NBA right now fining Indiana $100,000 and Utah $500,000 saying integrity has to matter is because they need the customer to believe that the product that's being put on the court is one that is filled with care. And here's James Harden to tell you, the whole thing's a bank, man.
And the whole quote-unquote loyalty thing I think it's overrated. I think this is a business at the end of the day, and it's a lot of money involved and a lot of decisions that has to be made, you know what I mean? So, if a player isn't producing or if you don't see him in the future or, front office, some of them have to do like a job and want to keep their job, so they got to feel like they got to do what's best for, to keep their job, and they trade players. Or if a guy isn't happy and he wants to be traded to somewhere else, then it's a problem. It's just so many different dynamics that go into it. This is a business at the end of the day.
It seems to me, Greg, it really does, that this feels like it happened fast. The whole let's fix the NBA is in tatters. I know it's been happening for 5 years. It's been happening, feels like, since the beginning of the pandemic. But I can say without any dispute from anybody, right? This right now is the worst that it's been, correct? When I'm turning on my television last night, the streamers are now fighting for the rights to play, to show these live games, and I'm watching exhibition basketball. The basketball played last night was irrelevant. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter for any other reasons other than to watch and see who's trying the least, who looks like they're trying the least. It just can't be that before the All-Star game. You can't head into the All-Star game, the party, the weekend celebration of all the things the sport is, and your last games are all these fart noises that you're playing that Bobby Portis is out there schooling the defending champions.
And then you have All-Star Weekend to remind you how bad the NBA has become.
Shooting thing.
Yeah, the shooting thing, exactly. Well put by you. I mean, it's the All-Star score is always 147 to 138 because nobody cares
Hold on,
about
you guys are getting
playing
negative
defense.
again. All right, go ahead.
I know. It's exciting. A lot of points. Wow.
Why did you call the dunk contest the shooting thing? Like, I don't think – put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Has anyone in the world ever called the dunk contest the shooting thing?
Right, yeah. It should have been the three-point reference.
Yes, it should have.
The shooting thing.
Are you ready to be the love guru? Because the basketball –
Born ready, baby. Born ready.
tends to go pretty precipitously down over the course of the week. Your stamina, like by the time we get to Fridays.
Speaking of stamina, baby. Oh, woo!
You barely got the breath
I
out
know.
without
That
Woo! There.
Your Ric Flair didn't.
Edit that in.
While talking about stamina.
Yeah, you didn't seem to have a lot. You couldn't get your stamina to the end of that woo
I know.
sound.
Yeah, it was a bad woo. One of the world's worst woos.
I'm a little worried about the Love Guru. The Love Guru appears during the Dominique Foxworth segment in about 15 minutes. How are you feeling about doing this? Because you've lacked confidence in this over the course of the week, and I'm sensing a lack of sincerity in the present confidence you're showing.
Yeah. Well, sincerity can be overrated, particularly in the boudoir. You know, you have to make it fun. You know, sex is too serious. Let's have a little fun. You know, that's. You know, I hope somebody tees me up for that answer because I have no idea what the questions are going to be. But, you know, you like to have fun. That's part of the whole thing.
Put it on the poll, please.
A laugh riot.
Is sex too serious?
At Le Batard Show, is sex too serious? And also, is sincerity overrated in the boudoir? Because I believe his only move is going to be to turn English words into French to make them suggestive.
Baby.
Oh, for the love of God. How many babies are we got?
It's only 3.
We're at 3 right now. 21.5 is the line.
I know. The over-under is 21, and I'm going to play with that. Okay, I'm going to play with that line. I'm going to get to like 19.5, and then the excitement's going to build, and I won't say it again.
Did you run out of breath again? Like I'm a little bit worried about your stamina. We've got to get through 3 hours today, and your sentences are lacking breath by the time you get to the finish line on where you know the punctuation is. You should have the timing on this down because you know where you're headed, how much breath you need, and how much energy you need to get to the end of the sentence. But you've already run out of breath a couple of times on your way to the finish line on what are your own thoughts.
Look, nobody finishes like me.
This is what the Love Guru is going to do. It's just going to be double entendre at
You got that right.
This is what you wanted. You wanted him excited. You wanted him sexy. You wanted him giving those double entendres and triple entendres.
I don't want to say I'm excited, but keep that camera from the waist up, will you?
All right.
You wanted this. Don't look around upset. You wanted this.
I did want the Love Guru. That's true. And we're going to get the Love Guru in about 15 minutes when Dominique Foxworth is here. I do want to segue, though, into the new Dolphin foreheads are going out in public and leading publicly with their foreheads and their voices. They're sitting in front of people and giving a mishmash of conversation as it relates to Tua, which it's an awkward time, right, where everyone knows the couple's breaking up. I don't know if you guys have had this experience at like parties at your house and stuff where you know a couple is on the rocks. You're feeling all the things that tell you they're on the rocks, but they're trying to keep up appearances publicly. And every once in a while, the foreheads have to go out there and they have to talk to fans and tell them what's going on. But they don't know yet what's going on because they're saddled with this quarterback and they don't know if they're going to be able to trade him. They don't know if anyone's going to want that contract.
This was a fan-only event. This was media excluded. So I want to talk to our fans, and this is Nat Moore sitting with the new head coach and John Eric Sullivan, the new GM, and asking if they will be looking at quarterbacks. Hear the fans' reaction if they will be looking at quarterbacks in the offseason.
Of course, we'll be looking at other quarterbacks in this draft. every draft thereafter. But look, Tua was in my office the other day, if I'm being perfectly frank. We had a great conversation. Tua has been a very good player in this league. He's done a lot of really good things for the Miami Dolphins. You guys should be proud to have him and having had him. I don't know what the future holds right now, and I told Tua that. We're working through some things. What I can tell you is that we're going to infuse competition into that room, whether Tua's part of the room or whether he's not part of the room. We're going to infuse competition into that room like we will do at every other position. Tua knows where we are. We've been very honest and upfront. And Tua also knows that he will be the first to know when we make a decision. So if Tua's the first to know, you guys can't be the first to know. And I know that you respect and appreciate that, but we're getting close to a decision. And when we do, we'll let Tua know whether he's going to be part of this or not, and we'll move forward. But you can rest assured that we will add competition to that room one way or the other to make it the best that we can.
That was an avalanche of verbal diarrhea. That's a rookie GM realizing early that he made the mistake and spent the last minute. Once he got the applause for the thing that was getting aggregated, he tried to correct it for the last minute after that.
He's like, oh, no.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. Look, this is what happened. I don't want to play the whole thing again, but just play it off the top. What happens here is simply John Eric Sullivan says, oh, no, they're going to aggregate the applause if I say we're replacing the quarterback. Let me now cover all this up so that Tua doesn't get mad at me, so that I can explain all of this so that Tua doesn't react poorly. What an amateur move here.
Of course, we'll be looking at other quarterbacks in this draft.
Here comes the backtrack.
Every draft thereafter. But look, Tua was in my office the other day.
Just an avalanche of bullshit.
I just love the smattering, like, yeah.
I mean, he did say, though, we're going to look for another quarterback in the draft. Now, they pick 11th. They're not going to get their dream quarterback at 11. I think what he probably meant is maybe in the 4th or 5th round, if we see somebody we like at that low level, we're going to take him. But I thought he was, a little bit smart in being careful with it. He's tiptoeing on soft ground right now when it comes to the Dolphins and the quarterback situation. He can't say that Tua is no longer a factor for us. He's got to try to drive up whatever minimal interest there is in the trade market. It's him and Kyler Murray are the two best potential free agent or trade quarterbacks out there. And they're both flawed. I don't know if there's a market for either or both, but the Dolphins have to do that because if they just let him go, they're gonna burn $50 million, $54 million. So they're in the worst quarterback conundrum in the NFL right now because they don't have a great backup. They're thinking about Malik Willis as the savior. That's a bad situation.
Malik Willis is actually pretty good. Like, I'd be interested to see him.
Your voice went up when you said that a little.
Really, it did?
You're like, well, that's pretty
I
good.
like him. No, but Greg, to that point, like, if you're the new GM and you understand that there is an albatross on your roster with the Tua contract, you're probably going to have to move a pick with him to go and move him because he has no value on his own. Why not go out and say, hey, look, it's been a great time. We understand, like, kind of what we got.
Time.
Yeah, like he's been good for the time that he was good or whatever, right? But you got to say it. You got to say, hey, we're going to go look at other things. We're going to bring, and he says it kind of in the verbal diarrhea avalanche, where he's like, we're going to get guys to compete in here. We're going to interject competition into the room or whatever. But you can kind of put a line in the sand and be like, look, that was the old regime. That was the old way of doing things. Tua was a great quarterback for the time that he was here, whatever, and we're going forward. Like, I feel like you can go out and say that and earn capital with your fans.
Yeah. Oh, earning capital with your fans is not the problem. I think when you bring in a new head coach and a new GM, both who present themselves well, both coming from a winning franchise, dare say a legendary franchise, you have some credibility immediately. But the quarterback,
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't agree that you buy yourself anything with the presenting themselves well, come from a winning franchise like that. This is disarray, okay? there are at the top of your division two teams that have young quarterbacks who are established. You don't know what you're doing. Your GM is out there having to play some public game where he can't speak honestly because Tua's got to be the first to know because he's still my highest paid player and I don't want to cause yet more headlines. But here's Chris Sims talking to Dan Patrick saying he's with Tony on this, that Malik Willis, and this is where they'd go because they're the Green Bay guys, that Malik Willis is a good option.
I think Malik Willis is a superstar, right? I would think he is the crowning gem of guys that's going to be out there as far as free agents that you can get, no compensation, trading, any like that.
Why wouldn't Pittsburgh go for Malik Willis?
If I were them, I'd be looking at that. You're exactly right. I mean, Malik Willis has proven. I mean, he's got special talent. He has a special arm. He's got special mobility. He knows how to run the offense and do all of that. So, yeah, he's a great story here. But
Wait, do you like Malik Willis more than Jordan Love?
It's closer than I ever thought it would be, right? I'm really a Jordan Love fan. I mean, again, I'm the one that was like, Jordan Love, I think, is going to be better than Tua when he was coming out in the draft, right? So I'm with that. But Malik Willis, I'm not going to say he's better than Jordan Love right now. I will say that I think he shows more potential to be a greater player than Jordan Love.
Wait a minute, what?
What does he mean by that?
More potential to be a greater player than Jordan Love. I don't believe Malik Willis will ever be Jordan Love. I think there is some crazy talk in there, although I do think that Chris Sims, I've told you guys before, there are a handful of people doing it extraordinarily well. Chris Long is one of them. Dominic Foxworth is going to be on with us in a little while. Chris Sims is one of them, but I think Dan Patrick sort of put him in a corner there where he couldn't move on. He was talking too highly about Malik Willis.
I'm a big Jordan Love fan.
Are you? Can you be if you said that Malik Willis has the greater potential to be a greater superstar player, greater than?
That does just instantly make me. I mean, I know that's what this is all for, right? I hear someone smarter than me talk about it. Like I'm more in on Malik Willis than I was yesterday.
I mean, when you have the dire straits they have in the QB room, Malik Willis is a smart guy to sign because he's probably at the very worst he's backup quality. But he's started 6 games in 4 seasons. He's 26. If he hasn't proved to the league yet that he's QB1 material, will he ever? I think he's worth the risk. They're going to get him cheap. But is he the answer? We don't know that. The
Why are
NFL
you doing that, though?
That.
I don't think it's fair, though, to say that if he hasn't shown it by 26, he's not going to show it, given that he had to sit behind Jordan Love, who was groomed by all elements of the organization to replace Aaron Rodgers. So there wasn't going to be a way for Malik Willis to showcase his talent that doesn't involve Jordan Love getting hurt.
Yeah, but he started with Tennessee, which had a much more fragile quarterback situation. He could have come in and wowed them instantly.
Well, so this part bothers me, okay? This part bothers me. Earlier this week, Nick Wright and Mike Ryan are both like, yeah, I doubt Drake May more than I used to. And I'm like, guys, it takes more than 2 years to learn how to play that position. Like, all my life, the playing of that position is something that takes a lot of years before you see somebody develop into something special. It's not a little bit of promise here and there just because C.J. Stroud and Cam Newton come out and do something early on where you now expect guys to be great as soon as they arrive. Jaden Daniels, like, that's not a normal thing, Greg. It's become more normal when I give you the athletic quarterbacks who can move around a little and then make plays outside of the pocket and just ignore everything that was happening in game plans and what that play was supposed to be because you can get outside the pocket and create 3 more seconds of time. Those guys are having more success, but it takes years to learn how to play that position correctly. So these guys being out on Drake May because he had a tough run against 3 great defenses when he's a couple years into his career, like, I don't understand how we just forget what is the entire history of the sport at that position. And just recently, show me in a year or 2 now, kid, or I don't have any use for you.
You're 100% on Drake May. He's 23 years old. He just had an MVP-level season where he was second in MVP voting. Don't compare Drake May right now to Malik Willis. That's all. I mean, Malik Willis through four seasons, double the time Drake May's been in the NFL, has yet to prove himself. Now, you can say he hasn't had the chance to.
He hasn't.
Okay, I think it's smart. I think the Dolphins will sign Malik Willis, and I think it's smart to do it because I agree with Chris Sims, where you're looking at a weak field of really easily gettable quarterbacks. Malik Willis is in the top tier of that weak field. I'm just not ready to say, all right, Malik Willis is the answer. Better than Tua. He's their answer. Let's go into 26. Malik Willis is our guy. That's our answer. We don't know yet.
Greg, to that point, he's a tier 1 athlete. We can all agree on that. Like, we see him on the field, and he's like, wow, that guy looks different than everybody else looks at that position. What you're hoping is that you can get him. He's bounced around a couple places, obviously learned under Jordan Love and that regime with LaFleur. You're hoping that you can take him, and he's a bit unmoldable, right, where now you can put him in a system and mold him into a quarterback with that offense or with that special skill set that he has and try to get something out of that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the new Dolphin regime is better suited than anybody else in the league to really know Malik Willis, to really know what he has, what his weaknesses are, why he couldn't unseat Jordan Love. So they're if they take him, they believe in him. I think that's fair to say.
No, if they take him, he's their guy. They're not going anywhere else. If he's got options, if they take him, that's what they're doing. Like, it's not if they're not going to bring competition in for Malik Willis, if they get Malik Willis, that's the plan. Not if there are no second plans, that's it.
If they sign Malik Willis, they will still draft a quarterback. That's a guarantee. I will bet you at any odds.
Any odds? That's not a good deal to make.
Well, I use that as
what round?
As a point. In any round, they're going to draft. They're going to draft a quarterback every year.
Greg,
every year.
If they take Malik Willis, that's their plan for next year. Hard stop.
Okay, so when the new GM says we're going to infuse his word, we're going to infuse competition into that quarterback room.
What he's saying there that he can't say to fans or anyone else, Malik is going to replace Tua. I can't say it to you yet. I got to say it to him first. I almost said it there a second ago. You started applauding, and then I gave you the avalanche of verbal diarrhea after that. Love Guru, next.
Hey, check us out this week on Mystery Crate. Can I eat a bunch of cheeseburgers throughout the show? How many? 5, 3, 7, 14.
Now that we know what happened, how'd you feel about your performance?
We're being honest. We're filming this after. We're not going to reveal whether I failed or passed.
How do you feel about
I feel like shit right now.
Yeah.
I'll admit that.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of them. Too many.
Colonoscopy, by the way.
I'm not going to tell you if I failed or if I passed because you got to tune in. But I need to go potty.
Okay, so you need to go potty. That's your official statement on how you felt about the whole situation.
But we got a lot in this episode. We talk Winter Olympics. Rose is here.
Hi, I'm Mike Fuentes.
In for Fuentes.
We talked about AI slop celebrity parents.
Oh, we find out all of us who our celebrity parents would be based off what ChatGPT thinks.
And we promoted the hockey show.
The hockey show,
God.
Roy. We're not doing that.
We're not doing.
This is Mystery Crate. We're not doing that right now. By the way, check out the Greg Cody show.
What are you doing? Stop that. Check out Mystery Crate. We eat burgers. That's what we do. Across the board, we eat burgers, and we watch AI slop.
Also, learn about Zaz's colonoscopy.
Next up, TLS favorite Brad Williams.
Now, Dan, imagine what you just experienced being a 6-foot whatever man. Now put that in a 4-foot man as I'm trying to cross the street last night, looking at certain puddles going, this could be it. This could be where I go because the water was moving very fast. I forgot my floaties. I can't swim. I have a very large head that sinks. I have a very fat butt that floats. That's not good for swimming. I'm very nervous. Florida is not a good climate for me.
He instantly goes upside down.
I do. I turn into a fly girl in a club, just face down, ass up, like that's me, instantly in a puddle. Here lies Brad, killed by puddle. That could happen.
Brad Williams makes me laugh all the time, but rarely as much as when he's greeting Mike Golick and they are doing that shoulder handshake, and Mike Golick has to get down and Brad Williams has to climb up. Why didn't you just go in for a straight handshake to say hello?
Because then I nut tap him. Because if I go straight handshake, there's the possibility. And by the way, how much, Gojo, were you just holding back? You're like, if I go full shoulder into this guy, he may evaporate into Skittles.
I was more thinking on if I went to pull in, because we went the dap with the hug.
Yeah.
And so there's that pull in the middle, and I was like, are we going to airlift Brad right now? Is this going to end up being like a swinging situation?
Did you go football mentality, low man wins, I'm not going to let this guy beat me.
That is true. I thought about just getting all the way down.
You got down pretty low. I thought you were going to throw out your back.
I was Jason Kelsey tush push stat. I was trying to get down on all fours there. It was good.
And now I'm realizing that I missed my calling as an O lineman.
God, could you
low
imagine?
Man wins.
Brad Williams led tush push, unstoppable.
Well, not only was it funny because visually that was funny, you were also interrupting a story of Brad Williams kicking a one-legged man out of his last show. That's the story that you interrupted.
I did. There is no love lost between people who share parking in the handicapped space. He was gone. Get out of my show, sir.
Now, did you know he was one-legged before you kicked him out?
I did not. I did not.
So when he gets up,
I was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and where all the one-legged people hang out, and the guy was talking way too much, and it's the worst kind of heckler to me. I will gladly take a heckler that yells out "F you" more than a guy that loves me but is just talking too loud and commenting on every joke and be like, that's so true when you did that. Like, God damn it.
Oh, that's a great joke, Brad Williams.
Yeah,
that's great. You're killing it, Brad.
That's what I'm doing. It's like he's encouraging me, but it's like your mom clapping too loud in the stands. Like, Mom, shut up. I can do this. And so I talked to him. He's like, hey, I paid good money to get in here. And I like, dude, you got to shut up. And I finally had to kick him out. So he stands up and he does the walk. And when he walks, the pant leg goes up and I see the shiny metal underneath. And I'm like, oh no. Oh, no. And I kind of, and then because I can't filter thoughts, I go, you have one leg, sir?
Oh, so you just decided to play with the cards up.
Let's go. And then he turns and goes, yep. And I was like, am I kicking out a soldier? Did you serve? And he goes, nah, car accident. And I'm like, okay, get like, if it's a soldier, then yeah. But I actually kept talking to him, and then because I felt bad, I invited him back. And he sat down, and we proceeded with the show. But then it just kept going. He got his second chance to the point where now I see the faces of the people around him being uncomfortable, and I'm like, all right, well now you. So I kicked him out again. No, I kicked him out again, and he gave me the whole like, well, do you know how much I paid for these tickets? And I go, an arm and a leg. Oh.
It's time for Vegas legend Carrot Top.
The man is a legend, and he's a legend in Vegas where it's hard to be a legend. I've seen him. His face is ID to get into all the big places. And he's also, though, he's a Florida guy as well, and I think he should be a Panther fan because he grew up in Boca. So I don't know where he is, but I believe he's bigger than Wayne Newton now. He's more Vegas than Wayne Newton, and I'm not joking when I say comedy legend for 40 bleeping years. 40 bleeping years and still doing it 4 times a night. In Vegas, you, Carrot Top, Mr. Top, are rooting for who in this series?
You can't say 40 bleeping years. It just doesn't sound cool. You know, you gotta say 40 years. But yeah, it's gonna be really rough. This might be the hardest decision of my life. Being from Boca, I think I performed at the Sunrise Musical Theater when I was young. But my roots, I mean, I'm in Vegas. They're listening to me right now. I'm here in Las Vegas, and it's tough. I got to be honest. I think my heart is a little more for Las Vegas.
What?
No!
I know.
No!
I'm here
You
every night.
sell out. You sell out.
Are you cranking it before the game?
You mean like drugs?
No, I mean the thing where you crank it and you get everybody hyped.
Hey, are you cranking it before? Yeah, man. No.
Have you ever cranked it?
Yes, they have. That's a personal question, but yes, I have cranked it. They gave me that twice. I've done it twice. And apparently Wayne Newton has beaten me by one crank. So
I was watching. I was at game 2, and I was watching.
I've got to
Wayne
catch
Newton
up on
crank it.
crank. I got to catch up on a crank.
Wayne looks great.
Wayne looks like hell. What are you talking about? Be honest.
Come on, Karen, Tom. That's not
No. I love Wayne. Seriously.
Then you can't take out the legend. What's the matter with you? But you are. You are
I
more
love Wayne.
Vegas. No, you are more Vegas than him, though. You are.
No, he's Mr. Vegas. I'm Mrs. Vegas. He changed one night. We were doing a video, and it's really hot, right? I looked over, and Wayne Newton's hair was dripping. So I went over and I said, "Your hair dripping with what?" I said, "I got to fix your hair." And he looked back at me, and I said, "It's just drip." It was like the little black,
Oh no.
dye was dripping. So I
That's not natural?
fixed. No, it's natural. It's just naturally dripping. It was naturally dripping.
Wait, I want to really.
I didn't let him sit there and drip. I thought I should probably step in.
But you have seen Hollywood melt away, vanity melt away, and so
Yes.
you had to laugh to yourself that
Yeah.
symbol for Vegas excess, that his hair was dripping down his face.
Yeah, I know what to do. No one else was doing it. The makeup artist was like, "I'm not touching it." I'm like, "Someone fix Wayne Newton's hair." For God's sake. So I took over the.
I mean, you don't hate the Panthers though, because they keep getting
No.
No, but their fans
I love the
keep
Panthers. Love the Panthers. Great Americans. No, I love. I don't know why I'm doing my Trump impression is the worst in the world, but I just go into it when you need to.
I think it's pretty good.
Oh, is it? Is it pretty good?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I was telling Sasha Michelle Millett that Carrot Top does a really good Donald Trump.
Always been a fan of you, Bob. Always been a fan.
I wish we could say the same.
Big fan. Oh, come on, we gotta work together. Well, I love this game. It's very exciting though. Coming to 2-0. I mean, it's really this town's going crazy, as you know.
And they're getting in the way.
Florida's probably going crazy too. Oh yeah. Are they talking that already?
Have you ever been to the arena? Because it's kind of where you went to community college. It's like in the Everglades.
I was curious as to where it was because I said I lived in Florida my entire life. I don't think I've been to that area very often. When I went to Boca, I was in Boca. I guess that's not too far from there.
It's right next to Sawgrass Mills. You ever been to Sawgrass Mills?
Sawgrass Mills, man, it's been a while. But they apparently have a hockey team down there, so that's good.
This is a good show.
How do we get Gustav Forsling going?
What's that?
How do we get Brandon Montour going?
Yeah, like anything else, they're gonna have to get these guys motivated, and that's what they did in the last game. I mean, I think it's just like watching the basketball game last night. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but that series is unbelievable. How close the first, second, third games have been by one like motivating thing, one factor that all comes in. Same as the Knights, they came in really motivated. Now I think we'll see what happens down in
Do you think
Florida.
Game 3 was rigged though? Because we have some
Game rigged?
Yeah, like the officials rigged it.
Rigged.
You mean the basketball game last night?
Yeah, very clearly.
Oh, totally.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
The love guru is in position. I know that the person in our screen here who's not the love guru thinks he's the love guru, but there's only one love guru around here, and it's Greg Cody. It sure shit isn't Desmond Howard who's joining us now. For those of you who do not know, the person that is otherwise known as Dominique Foxworth has a friendship with Chris Long, but one of Chris Long's producers thought that Dominique Foxworth was Desmond Howard for some reason on Super Bowl Radio Row. I don't know why that was. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I would have been able to explain it much more easily if it wasn't for the fact that Nate is black. And he thought I was Desmond Howard. So that threw me off. And I acknowledge that Cody is probably the funniest person to have as a love guru. But when I came down to host both times, or I've come down to many a times to host in place with you, Dan, I brought on a sex expert to teach my guys what they're doing right and wrong. So I'm not even saying that I should be here, but I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, Greg Cody?
I've been told by sources that the reason that you were confused as Desmond Howard by one of Chris Long's producers is because that Chris Long producer was on 100 milligram Mike Tyson gummy.
So it's a co-host. It's not a producer. I'm the only person who has a producer / co-host. The only person, it's the idea that I originated is that you use your producers as your co-host. So Nate is not a producer. He's a co-host. And I mean, 10 to tear my ass up. Like 20 is crazy. 100?
Yeah.
A hundo?
Yeah, 100.
That's insane.
That's pretty strong. Let's hold on a second with Desmond Howard. We'll get his opinions on Malik Willis in a second. But we have to, this long-anticipated Love Guru segment is here. What kind of production elements does it have before we get love advice here from the Love Guru? It has both music and questions from the audience, right? If you
Hey, that's kind of sexy. Hold up.
Yeah.
All right, we off to a good start, Greg.
Good. All right, so now we toss Dan to the Love Guru. Are you ready for the first question?
Love Guru, please grab that microphone carefully. You've placed it strategically in a place that's suggestive.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and play the question from the audience for the Love Guru.
Hey, what's up? It's Darian calling from a bat phone. I know you've been married for 100,000 years. This is my 7th anniversary. How do you keep it spicy, Greg?
You know what? I do something a little bit different. I may have invented this. During foreplay, okay, when you're really beginning to get at it, pepper in a couple of random intellectually stimulating facts. For example, this happened to me the other night. I said to my wife, all of us out of the blue, you know, we're grooving, we're doing the thing, and I said, did you know that a newborn baby giant panda is the size of a stick of butter when born? And my wife gives me this leering smile and goes, that's not all I know that's the size of a stick of butter. Baby.
Number 5, actually. We're at 5 babies. He opened the segment. Let's have another question that makes Desmond Howard put his head in his hands again. Another question for the Love Guru, please.
Hey, Greg. Looking for some love advice here in Denver. I've been trying to slip some of your catchphrases into the bedroom with my girlfriend. So far, they've been falling flat. Which ones do you recommend to set the mood, as well as to accentuate when the moment arrives?
Okay. Easy question. There's a start and a finish. Okay, the clarion call to get everything going is, of course, baby. You make that call throughout the house. The ears perk up. And then it begins, okay? And when it's all over, what you do is, at the moment of climax, maybe wait a couple of seconds, at the moment of climax, hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's it. What a bow on that package.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
We've only got 7 more. We'll go to Dominique here before we go back to the Love Guru. We all have to gather ourselves. It's gotten steamy in here. Before we get to your Super Bowl meanderings, do you have any opinions on Malik Willis and the idea that Chris Sims, we just heard him say, Malik Willis has superstar potential and is somebody who could be in a conversation with Jordan Love in a few years?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fun thing to say right now. I guess I've been a little bit hesitant to go all in on the Malik Willis thing because it's a spot-start situation, but I think it's right. The situation's right. Everything will work out. How dare you put me in this position? This is the worst position possible. I'm listening to myself thinking, I can't wait till we get back to the Love Doctor.
Okay, let's go back to the Love Doctor now then before we get to Desmond Howard's Super Bowl tales.
Hold on. So he walks in the house and yells, baby.
Yeah, it's a call throughout the jungle.
And Erlene is in another room yay!
That's right. It is the king of the jungle arriving home and then just setting a shout echoing throughout the wilderness, baby, and then ears perk up and Love comes running. Let's go to another question here for the Love Guru.
This is Saint in Phoenix. Please don't judge me before I get started. I'm a lover. All right, Cody, how should I handle my Valentine's weekend when I have 3 women that I love? I'm sorry. I just love women, so please don't judge me.
Hey, don't apologize. I get it. Okay? A couple of things. Okay, if you are an accomplished liar or a professional juggler, you got no problem with 3. Okay? But in the real world, here's what you got to do. Find a way to bring those 3 together. Okay, maybe this is antithetical, but find a way to bring your 3 together. Get them in a room. Let them meet. Foment a relationship. Because you know what comes out of that? What we Frenchmen call a ménage à quatre. That's a ménage à trois plus 1.
Can I say something, please? Greg Cody, as the Love coach, reminds me of my DB coach when I first got to Denver, when he tells you to do something that's damn near impossible and gives you no advice. It's like, hey, we're going to cover 1. There's Randy Moss. And I'm like, all right, which one we do? Find a way. Greg just said, get him in the room and make it happen, baby. That's good coaching right there. I believe in you.
I'm an idea man. You know?
I mean, that's a terrible idea. I'm trying to think of worse advice.
Get them killed.
Yeah, I mean, the word introduce them to each other is not the way to do that.
Yeah,
unless you're a juggler or a great accomplished liar.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just mad because you ain't got the skills that Greg could pull that off back in his youth. But you can't pull it off.
Did you just hurt yourself bending over for your drink? Did I just hear you moan?
And probably. It could possibly be.
All right, we'll come back to the Love.
It's, they make bourbon now. It looks a lot like Miller Lite, but it's beautiful sipping bourbon. It's great.
We'll get back to the Love Guru in a second. What were the highlights, Dominique, of your Super Bowl week? All right, let's go back out.
Is he frozen?
Let's go back out to the. That's fine. Let's go back
it's
out
Desmond Howard, Dan, remember.
to the Love Guru. Let's go right back out to the Love Guru and a 4th question for the Love Guru.
Hey, Greg. Aaron from Lincoln, Nebraska here. Just wondering, what do you do when your dogs always want to watch?
Aaron, that's a great question. It happens a lot. I know it happens with me and Jumpin' Charlie. Here's what you do. You lead the dog. We're smarter than animals, okay? You lead the dog into a faraway room where you can't hear if he barks or whatever. Or, it's too far away to bark. You lead him into a room. You give him a nice, long-lasting chew toy. You close the door on the room before you get back to business. But the key is you make sure that on a TV in that room with the dog, there's a video playing of you and your partner making love.
I don't know about this.
The dog would like that.
I don't know.
Instead of the real thing, you have a facsimile of the thing he wants to watch.
I don't know.
Dogs don't care, man. They want what they want. They see it. Okay? It's like when a dog perks his ears when another dog's barking on the TV. Dogs never seem dumber than when they're doing that and when they're chasing their tail. But here the dog's in another room right now. He's watching the same thing he would watch in the bedroom but remotely. Win-win.
Speaking of chasing tail.
Zagacki.
All right, Desmond Howard is back with us now. And before you froze there, I was asking you about the highlights from your Super Bowl week. Now you're
Highlights for me was
go ahead. You were muted.
I met somebody. Yeah, I met somebody. One of Charlie's friends, my producer / co-host Charlie. His friend is a world-renowned chugger. I should send you the video. Like you wouldn't even believe it. He's so good at chugging beer, which is something I've never witnessed in person. Like I know that some people do it, like in college and stuff. I've never actually witnessed a chug in person, but he's so good at chugging that when I told him, I was impressed because it was like he drank it almost as fast as you could pour a beer out. He was offended because he thinks that he could beat a beer being poured out and chugging because he creates a vacuum. It was the most impressive thing I'd ever seen, even though it's just chugging beer. If that was an Olympic event, gold medal.
Your thought is, though, that he is accurate when he says he could get it consumed faster than it can be poured out? That doesn't seem like it'd be possible.
I'll have Charlie send you the video, and you'll see it. It's nothing to discuss at this point. Once you see the video, you'll understand completely. And my trip started out before the flight was when Nate thought I was Desmond Howard. Before that happened, I knew it was going to be a good trip because I walked through TSA, and you know how they have the little image where it shows you where on your body like there's some sort of activity they need to check out. I walked through it. The guy stops me, and he points at the screen. The square right over the most important part. And so then I was there stuck with the uncomfortable, and the guy said, sorry, got to do it. And then normally you present that portion of your body. I didn't know what to do. So I just stood there. He took the back of his hand, grazed me. I felt uncomfortable, but I knew that it was going to be a lot of funny things from the trip starting there. And then Nate was like, hey, what up, Dez? I hit him with the Heisman and got on the flight.
Did you feel vulnerable? You don't do frailty well. Like you're in front of security there and you're being
no.
wanded and
grabbed.
I
didn't tell the full story. I didn't get wanded or grabbed. I poked it out. It's like, you had to present it, right?
No, that's sexual harassment. No, that's sexual harassment.
He poked it out. He poked it out.
You can't poke it out. You can't poke it out. I can bring charges against you for poking it out.
I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable because he seemed like he was like, oh, this sucks. I'm sorry. And I was like, look, bro, got to do what you got to do. I want to fly safe. You want to do your job. You got to present it. I'm sorry.
I'll get back to the love guru in a second here. What was the most interesting stuff that you heard or saw around the halftime show? I was surprised, but shouldn't have been, I suppose, the reaction. I did have some friends say to me, though, that it was funny that everyone's complaining about not understanding the Spanish, and then Kid Rock's song is bop with the ba, and those aren't English words. Like, that's the alternate programming on what Kid Rock was doing, also not intelligible.
So, the reaction to it was, predictable, and I feel silly, getting mad at the reaction because nobody actually is bothered by the halftime show. They're just looking for an opportunity to, grandstand and to signal their virtue or the opposite of virtue, I guess, to anyone else. But I do have to admit that the first time I saw the halftime show, I didn't enjoy it as much as I think I should have, and I watched it a couple days later, and it was awesome. And I realized the reason why was I missed the first couple minutes, and because I was doing a live show after, I watched the Super Bowl in a conference room with Rex Ryan, Mike Greenberg, and some producers. So the vibe in there wasn't right for Benito, and it didn't feel right. Then I watched it by myself in my basement with some good speakers. That shit slapped.
So that's really what had happened? It was environmental? It was you're with Rex Ryan watching it, you're with Mike Greenberg, and you're like, this is not as Hispanic as it could be, my immediate environment, and so the culture wasn't able to reach you.
It was in a conference room in Los Angeles with bright lights, shitty speakers, and 60-year-old whites.
Dominique, I just said the same thing. I had the same experience. I was around too many old whites for the first time I watched it.
Then I watched it by myself, and I was like, oh, and I also missed the sugarcane part at the beginning. Like, I walked in, because we were prepping for our show, I walked in around the Lady Gaga time to a room that was dead, with everyone's looking at the screen, looking silly, and looking at their phones, and I was like, man, this halftime show is kind of weird. Then I watched it at home by myself. It started with the sugarcane, told the whole story, went through like all the representation. They had like the gay body roll in the middle. I was like, yeah, represent for everyone. I had to throw that in. I had to virtue signal to you guys. I'm an ally. Bup, bup, bup. And also, the music was slamming. It was incredible. I enjoyed it. I didn't have to understand the words.
Let me play for Dominique here something that Joe Judge did at the Trinidad Chambliss arbitration hearing. Things are getting really weird in the NCAA. Trinidad Chambliss has now been given a court injunction that will grant him a 6th year of eligibility because it's more profitable for him to play college football, given what he just did in terms of stardom in college football, than it is for him to play pro football. He's gotten an injunction, and Joe Judge takes all of this, his coach, to a strange place.
But we would have to educate. This is always a tough conversation to have, and it's not a popular thing, but this is the truth. We would have to educate significant others who may have been pregnant during the season, or going to have a baby during the season. And you'd have to educate them on, you have this baby in the middle of the season, that father has to play good football, right? It's a day-by-day production business. He has to be ready to perform and go out there and play. And when I say that is, you need to let him sleep. He needs to be in another room, detached. You have to explain to the mother, like, hey, listen, he ain't waking up for midnight feedings. After the season, he's full metal jacket. You do whatever you want with him. And he can change every diaper. But in the season, he's got to have a different priority. Now,
that judge perked up and looked at the side of Joe Judge's face like, are you really saying this? That if you're getting pregnant, lady, you got to make sure that you're not interrupting the quarterback's sleep.
I got to be honest. There's a couple things. I think I've already accurately signaled my virtue. And I think there's a lot of things in this story about the future of the NCAA that is interesting, in that the only reason why we live by these rules is because all the schools are willing to comply. If the schools decide that they could let guys play until they're 30 and have 10 years of eligibility, I'm not sure that the NCAA would win those court cases. That's one other thing. So make it clear, I'm an ally. However, when I heard this Joe Judge stuff, I was wondering what the question was that he was asked. And I was also thinking, like, yeah, it's kind of like when I had my first daughter, my wife was in law school and I had torn my ACL. She wasn't going to get up with the baby. I ain't had nothing to do but rehab. Isn't this like the right situation? I know it doesn't sound good and you don't want to hear it from Joe Judge, but like, yeah, we got an opportunity for the weeks of the regular season or the weeks of the football season. The guy got to get some rest, right? Am I wrong? Am I being taking us back to the 60s?
I mean, you can't give voice to this almost under any circumstances. But But without context, though, some of the context here is that Chambliss has a sleep apnea problem. Correct? That's where it's starting.
Yeah.
It's not. He's not just volunteering this as an opinion without any context.
Apparently, a part of Trinidad Chambliss's case was that in 2022 he had enlarged tonsils that made it difficult for him to sleep, and in turn he couldn't participate in weightlifting programs and training for football, and thus deserved a medical waiver to get to a 6th year. And this was in response to that, of how important it is for players to get sleep, thus being able to participate in football. So this was an argument on behalf of Chambliss and his sleep apnea caused by tonsil
Maybe
enlargement.
still don't say that, though. That'd be my stance.
Well, but Dominique's not wrong when he says the quarterback's the economy of everything that we're doing in this state with college football, and he's got to be super important. I just don't think you have to summon the pregnant. It's just a losing argument to summon. Hey, pregnant lady, let the quarterback sleep. He's had a tough day in the film room.
Dan, the GM from Minnesota got fired, and on top of that, they threw, hey, he took 2 weeks for paternity leave. Like, that's part of what's going on here.
I mean, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, like, I think that if he had success, then people would have said they would have written a story about how he's a progressive dad. I don't think him going home paternity leave from the Vikings changed that at all. But I also, feel like it's a partnership, right? When you have a child, and there's some things that are more appropriate for other people, for some people to do what other people do. I think that having Joe Judge say it is terrible, and me rallying a room full of men behind "Let the Man Sleep" is probably a bad look also. But when I heard it and I saw that people were upset by it, I was like, I kind of feel like if I have to go, like this morning, I took the kids to school because I was coming into the studio. It was appropriate for me to do so. Like, there's some times when different parts of the responsibility fall on different person. If we in the regular season, I gotta sleep, right?
I feel like Mad Dog here. Remember he was talking about playing with the appendix, and then whoever it is doesn't want to play and whatever. You know how many times I've woken up still by my baby who sleeps right next to me, and I come into work every single day. Sometimes I sleep for 2 hours a night, and I'm here every single day playing through it, Dan.
Hero.
I will say, and if I'm being
Play it, Bruce.
If I'm being honest right now, this is one of the biggest tensions I have with my wife. Is like a couple years, like just prioritizing my job too much. Of like, oh no, you should. Our daughter's sick. I gotta go do a show. You should stay. That was like, I've had to miss work recently because my daughter's sick because of that tension. I need to sometimes, hey,
hold on,
your job's important.
Hold on. See this? I messed up. Tony, Chris, you ain't Trinidad Chambliss. Get y'all asses up and come talk sports.
And that's why I'm here.
Dan, get y'all asses up and feed that damn baby. See, that's the problem. That's where I messed up. I didn't realize that what I was doing there. All right, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense why everyone was mad. It's because no one's thinking about themselves when or no one's thinking about Trinidad Chambliss when they're watching this, or thinking about the person who has an opportunity to change the trajectory of their family's lives through the way they're playing. They're all thinking about themselves.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. Hold on. I changed the trajectory of my family's life if I don't show up here. Because my wife stays at home and takes care of the baby. That's her job.
Back to the love guru.
Oh, damn it.
Oh
you
my
guys
God.
ruined it. You
What
guys
has
ruined it. I
happened
don't want to be
around-
on this
You
side
started
anymore.
it. Wait a minute. You
You guys
decided.
ruined
This
it.
is what you decided to do.
I know,
Okay.
I know.
This is what you
Then I
decided
heard
to
it.
do.
Then I heard it.
You decided to set up on the other side of the argument on, hey, pregnant lady, let the man sleep. You started this. It's not anybody else's fault except Desmond Howard. Let's get the love guru to save us.
No. Last thing, before we go to love guru. Trinidad Chambliss was allowed to hold and throw a football. Tony?
That's
they
not my
wouldn't
fault.
give him one.
That's not my fault. That's not my fault. That's the coach's fault. You know that.
You
So
can
don't bring
wake
that
up
up
with them
again.
babies,
You know
man.
what the deal is.
Wake up with the babies.
In a room full of people who cannot and will never be pregnant, Dominique Foxworth opted to side with Joe Judge on let the quarterback sleep. He's tired. He's had a tough day. He's had a tough day. And the coach specifically mentioned a pregnant woman. Like he volunteered the pregnant.
Dan, all of this is completely mute point because Trinidad Chambliss doesn't have a baby. He has sleep apnea. The baby is an example of something completely different. It's a straw man argument.
It's a moot point, not a mute point.
Oh,
Give me my love guru
Shut up, Dominique.
music, please.
No. Mute that point. Mute it.
The love guru is undulating, the hips are moving, and so too is the belly. It is making those hearts jump. Let's ask the love guru another question.
What's the best way to spice up my relationship in the bedroom, Greg? How do my wife and I get time alone when my kids bust in while I'm taking a shit?
Oh my gosh, that's the eternal question of a good relationship is how do we get time alone, especially when the kids come along, the kids who are the fruit of your loins, who are the outcome of the ultimate sexual relationship. But here's the thing, I can only speak from experience. I know what worked for myself when Christopher and other son Michael were young was I would give them a low-dose tranquilizer. Perfectly safe, and to put them serenely to sleep for an hour or so.
Wait a minute.
And you're mad at me?
You're sedating? What you
Okay,
you're
I'm kidding.
You're
I'm
drugging
just,
kids
I'm
with
kidding.
a low-level sedative?
It's just a little tranquilizer humor. I'm kidding. You only do that under dire circumstances. Okay, but here's what in all seriousness, here's what you do. Okay, you cultivate friends for one reason. Okay, for one reason. It's so that they have friends who are your kids' age, and then you can farm them out to other people's houses for play dates. Okay, that's the only reason to have friends who have kids your kids' age, is for that. Works like a charm, and nobody knows it's happening. You get free babysitting for an hour or so, bam, they come back, you're done the deed, life goes on.
It seems like terrible advice.
Other son.
I mean, he started with sedating kids. I didn't even know if it was against their will or not. I don't know how he was applying the sedative. Yes, thank you, Tony. That is the correct. He's still jiggling over there. Let's get another question for the Love Guru, please.
Hello, Greg. This is Tom Luciano from Climax, Kentucky. Speaking of Climax, while warming up for our nocturnal meanderings, Mrs. Musiana enjoys when I sing her favorite song, Achy Breaky Heart by Mr. Billy Ray Cyrus. Do you ever sing any luscious melodies to Mrs. Cote before entering the throes of passion? I will hang up and eagerly listen.
Okay. I don't know what to make of that. Yes, of course I do. You know, the original singing sports writer's got to do his oral thing, you know, so here's what happens. Okay, anybody can sing the trite romantic song. Okay, the key is, and this is a big turn on, the key is you do something unexpected. So my go-to is, shot to the heart, and you're to blame, darling, you give love a bad name. That's just as it's happening, right? Puts everybody in the mood, right?
Yeah.
But here's the key. Here's the key. When I'm singing that, I'm wearing nothing but a black leather vest and a John Bon Jovi wig. Try it. Guaranteed. And you know it.
That doesn't seem like
Baby! Baby!
So just the vest.
And the wig.
And the wig.
And the wig. Don't forget the wig.
Yeah,
the wig.
picture it at your own peril.
It's dangling.
All right, I need to gather myself here before we get into the last batch of questions because I'm scared of where it is this descent is headed. Before you came on with us, Dominique, we were talking about just the problem that basketball finds itself in, that a couple of days after the football season, now everyone's fixing basketball the way that they used to fix baseball as soon as the football season ended and pitchers and catchers reported, and I wasn't totally prepared for it. Like, I'm legitimately confused on how it is you fix a problem where all of these teams are just throwing uniforms out there. The players aren't players you recognize. There are fewer and fewer star players playing. The amount of games being lost to injury and sitting is at a wholly ridiculous level.
Yeah, it's been kind of a slow decline, and I think we all want to point to our one pet issue for how it's kind of made basketball worse. For me, that's like tanking. I've always hated tanking and believed that you shouldn't have to make rules to encourage people to be competitive, but it's that combined with like you need to get 65 games to get into like voting for MVP and first team All-NBA. It's players who are trying to find ways to skirt the rules and like foul bait. It's like load management. It's all these little things. They throw a in-season tournament in there in the play-in game to try to address it. And it's just all these little issues that chip away at what I think used to be a game that was a lot more fun to watch. And now, like, playoffs is still incredible, but it just feels like just a bureaucratic thicket of nonsense now when I think about the NBA. And it wasn't that long ago that regular seasons were like really exciting and there was a team or a player who like we wanted to follow and it was really their story and a reason to tune in. It doesn't feel like that nearly as much, and it kind of all stems back to money too, where it's 8 teams get into playoffs from both sides and then you have 82 games, just so many different areas. So when we think about fixing it, it's fruitful for the offseason because there's so many things that need fixing. And it's just like a slow deterioration as a result of a ton of really bad decisions.
How do you feel about the draft? Because one of the things that people are suggesting fixes some of this is just eliminate the draft so that you will no longer have teams losing on purpose. I do find interesting. You must find this part interesting, right? all of these teams are losing on purpose so that they can improve their draft value, because in a salary cap sport, that's a place where you can gain some advantages with draft value. And in the NFL, all you got to do is hire minorities. They'll give you the draft picks, but they don't want to do that. Over here, they don't mind losing and incurring fines in order to get a better draft position. In the NFL, hey, all you got to do is hire some minority assistant coaches and we'll give you some draft picks. And they're like, that's a bridge too far.
Yeah, I mean, I think that abolishing the draft, like, I would love that, but it's an unrealistic thing. Like, it's anti, like, free market. It's a lot of things that are wrong with it, but it's something that I think is very much ingrained in the culture of sports. I also think, like, the salary cap is something that's a lot less ingrained, and I think eliminating the salary cap would offer another way to approach building a team. I think we haven't really seen this draft tanking thing be super successful in football. I think you could point to, like, the Thunder and some other teams in basketball that have had some success as a result of some really down years. But I think it's unrealistic. As much as I would love to eliminate the draft, I think it's unrealistic to hope that would happen that way. But I also like the idea of having an option to build your team a different way. If you're a small market team, you have to live through the draft, that's fine. But if you are a big market team, you want to go well over whatever the cap is, that also works. But they found all these ways, including like the second apron, all these ways to try to impose rules that make it so there's only one, or it feels like there's only one avenue to success. And we saw in baseball, like, the rise of analytics was a result of guys finding other ways to win. Like, get creative. Don't just suck and think that eventually you're going to get rewarded and win the lottery.
Let's go out to the Love Guru again. Thank you. The music is good. You selected the music well. The Guru, less well. We selected, but he is undulating again. Let's hear what the next question is from one of the callers.
Hey, Greg, Joel from Illinois. What's the clitoris and how do I find it?
Oh, no.
Yes. Okay, where's my clit? Okay.
Oh, no.
The first thing you do, okay, this is a very important question. We're talking about the hypersensitive neurovascular organ with more than 8,000 nerve endings. Okay, it's important to find it. Now, you can consult Google Maps to find it, but here's what I recommend. Okay, a friend of mine once, an Australian man, told me that to fully live life and live love, you have to head south and go down under. And that's what I recommend for you, baby.
I mean, that's just useless.
Baby.
It's just fundamentally useless.
I'm an idea man. I'm putting you on the road,
Chris a
Dan.
bonus?
I'm not driving you there. I'm putting you on the right road.
Somebody get Chris a bonus, man. This man is enduring. This is embarrassing for me.
Where's my...
It's just not good advice.
No.
Like, I don't know what I expected from this.
Down under.
Was that you doing Men at Work?
Yes, it was. Thank you. Very nice. Very good. Who won?
All right. He's just riffing now. He's out of control. I think he's gotten into the drink. He's now doing songs about Vegemite sandwiches. Let's have another question, please.
Hey, this is Ryan in Reno, and every time my wife and I are getting hot and heavy and I say, baby, it really seems to just turn her off. So I just wanted to see if there's something else I could do.
Ryan, that's a great question. Sometimes you got to lose the gimmickry. You know, sometimes you got to lose the catchphrases and be serious. Okay? Sometimes, how do I phrase this? Sometimes your partner wants sentimentality and seriousness. So listen. Honey.
He's out of material.
No, honey, I love you so much. You are so sexy tonight. You make me feel like the most lucky man in the world.
All right.
And you know it.
All right, that's enough.
And when you finish with "and you know
All right,
it,"
that's
it
enough.
drives the
nothing.
point home.
All
We
right,
had Biden a little bit there with the listen.
Drives the
I
point
heard
home.
some Biden in there, and you're just out of material. Get back in here.
Scranton.
Okay.
Hee-haw, three.
I can't remember the last time I was that nervous. That silence between the question and when Greg started talking, I can't remember the last time I was that nervous. I was scared. Coming off of the last segment where he had a song I'm definitely going to clip and use on my show. I didn't know where it's going to go. That was amazing. Sorry, Chris.
Get him back in here. This segment
We had one more.
All right, go ahead and play it. Hee-haw 3 out of nowhere.
Victor calling in from a mobile. Basically, my wife and I have gotten a little stale in our marriage. So one night I was kind of just browsing the personals and the local newspaper, and come to find out I found someone planning to meet up with her. As I'm planning to meet up with her, I come to find out it's actually my wife who also posted an ad. So kind of seems like we have a situation going on. So my question to you is, do steroid-tainted guys like Clemens and Bonds deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Thanks.
Now you're talking my language. Absolutely, they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. My wife and I discuss this all the time during sex.
Can I say something, please? I believe that, like, when you give financial advice, you have to, like, give a disclaimer that this is not financial advice. Like, I feel like in this segment, you guys might get sued for ending some marriages. We need a disclaimer put out before this starts. Like, this is not actual advice. This is just a guy rambling with some liquor in his hand. We need to do that.
Where's my clit? Da 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 da. There's my clit.
Good segment. All right, you can go back in now. Good job. I love that.
Can we get one woman to call this show? Like, how is it that how is it that you send out an international APB where you give out a telephone number for love advice, and all we get is a bunch of men calling, one of whom just gave us the plot to the song Pina Colada. And then
notice that.
And then ended it with a steroid question.
You like making love at me?
Dominique, stay there. I've got more questions for you, and we're out of time, unfortunately, because of the amount of time the Love Guru took there. So just stay there for a second. The Dominique Foxworth Show featuring Charlie is worth your time.
So I got a surprise for you. All
right.
It's coming up later.
All right.
A little surprise for you.
That's not a good
Hey,
surprise.
Levy.
All right. You know what? Just let them go. No more Dominique Foxworth. We're done with Desmond Howard for the day.
On this episode of The Alley-Oop, I think Golden State has revealed themselves, Juju, to be ultimate besmirchers and broke bitches.
And capital P L-A-Y haters. You dig it? Wait, did I spell that right?
Nope. Play haters.
Either way. They play haters. But we also get to the fight heard around the world, man. Beef stew off the bench, 100 miles an hour with ice on his damn knees. Was the suspension harsh enough? We talk about it and more.
Lock in.
Letterman with a sandwich for laughs.
So honestly, thrilled to be doing this with you because I have admired your work. You are just such a sculptor. You're an artist as a comedian. It's sort of the
Why? Thank you.
Well, the craft of it. It's such a hard way to make a living, Jay. I don't even understand how you make a living that way. I really don't. You have to be demented to choose, you know what? I'm going to laugh my way to the top. I'm going to take the expectation of funny, and that's how I'm going to get rich. Get out of here. It's crazy.
It seems sort of second nature to me. You know, I think it's one of those things. If it's what you like to do, it just comes. You know, I remember when I was in college, I'm dyslexic, so I would get out of any sort of written things, and I was taking speech therapy, And I remember the professor said, now at the end of the class, each student will have to give a 20-minute talk. And people went, 20 minutes? Oh my God, I get done. I thought, I'll do it right now. I'll talk for 20 minutes. Yeah, let's do this. So it just struck me as funny.
But you could be funny in an instant? You knew that this was something...
No, not funny. I had to give a 20-minute talk. I mean, I didn't have routine. I wasn't a comedian yet, but it just seemed natural. I mean, I always read that getting eaten by a shark and public speaking are the two things most people are afraid, that kind of stuff.
But not you, right? Like that, you didn't need attention, right? An audience just didn't scare you, right? Even though you were dyslexic, even though...
No, it didn't scare me. You know what's interesting? A lot of people don't realize, you remember the Smothers Brothers, right?
Yes.
Well, Tommy Smothers was dyslexic, and they were folk singers, but Tommy would get the songs wrong. Michael, boat the row ashore. No, it's row the what? And they made it part of their act. And that's kind of how they became a sort of funny comedy singing team,
How do you watch stand-up comics? Because I imagine you are watching not just to laugh, but to see where the comic's insecure, where the comic looks off stage or looks at his feet. I imagine...
No, not really. I watch it just to enjoy it. I like comedy. I enjoy watching comedians. You have to be careful when you're a comedian because someone does a joke and then you realize you never want to be on stage and that subject comes up and your mind immediately goes to that person. So you have to be careful not to try and take somebody else's material. That's sort of the biggest trick. A lot of times you don't want to watch comedians do routine on a particular subject because if you're developing something along the same line, now you can't do yours because it's too close to theirs or whatever it might be. But no, I watch it. It's like I like to make love, but I don't want to be a gynecologist. You know what I mean? So I enjoy it just being, just being around it and being with comics. It's always fun.
You came up through the pipeline of where stand-up comedy was born, right? Like, I mean, you're almost at the roots, Jay. I mean, I don't know if it's Pryor and Carlin, but coming up through the LA comedy circuit, coming up through the comedians, when you were writing with David Letterman for J.J. Walker, right? Like coming up through the Comedy Store, can you take me through the path of what you imagined your career was going to be and how it is that you arrived in? I can't even imagine getting from there to the Tonight Show.
Well, I'm a huge believer in low self-esteem. I think it's the key to success.
Hi and hello, my fellow football Americans, and welcome to the offseason. Real quick, for anyone who's been in a coma since the Eagles whipped the Chiefs in the Superdome last February, let me get you up to speed. Cam Ward went first overall in the draft, but then was never heard from again because he went to the Titans, who may or may not be an actual football team, but instead a psyop to see if a self-proclaimed football fan out there is actually paying attention. And people got real upset Deion Sanders' kid didn't get drafted where they decided he should have been drafted. But the Steelers had no need to get a QB because they already had signed an old man to play sports' most important position, while the Seahawks signed a journeyman QB. The Cowboys traded Micah to the Packers, and then the season kicked off. When the champs beat Dak, then the Raiders beat the Patriots in Foxborough, and Derrick Henry fumbled and Allen beat Lamar on Sunday night in what was sure to be a preview of a more important showdown come January. And J.J. McCarthy made KOC look smart with a big rally against Caleb Williams in Chicago. Meantime, the former first-round QB who'd left Minnesota in the offseason was rolling in his latest NFL home. Yeah, in case you forgot, at one point, Danny Dimes had the Colts at 8-2, while Mahomes wasn't playing so well. But no worries, you think they're going to miss the playoffs? They're the Chiefs. And speaking of QB, some people got real excited about Baker Mayfield for MVP until they lost that enthusiasm just before Bake lost out on the NFC South to the Panthers. Yeah, the Carolina Panthers. And Jalen Hurts was mad, and A.J. Brown complained, and Nick Sirianni made a face. And Phil Rivers played some games. Phil Rivers! And the Jets were the Jets, and the Browns were the Browns, and the Steelers traded away a talented receiver who wouldn't behave, then traded for a talented receiver who punched a fan. And Caleb and the Bears got good playing with the Lions Johnson, and Stafford's back held up long enough for him to hold up the MVP trophy. Then KC actually did miss the playoffs, and Mahomes tore his knee, but at least Kelsey got down on his knee. Then the playoffs started, and a bunch of teams that didn't make them fired their coaches, and Stroud stunk, and Josh Allen played badly in Denver, but that was okay because everybody decided to show their boundless empathy by feeling bad for a multimillionaire married to a Hollywood starlet. And then they showed the depth of their emotional well by crying about it snowing at a football game. Then the last chapter of the current season was interrupted by an outpouring of even more histrionic anger over a failing ACC coach not getting a gold jacket. And half the country cried about a halftime show, Iaio siguen llorando, ay, ay, ay. And then another former first-round QB who'd left Minnesota in the offseason rolled in his latest NFL home by beating a member of the 24 QB class, which is already in contention for best QB class ever, and won a Lombardi before any of his MVP winning draft classmates even reached a Super Bowl. Long story short, we end where we started with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and Joe Burrow Lombardi-less, and now an offseason devoted to hearing the phrase, defense wins championships. Let's start the show.
America is available on Mondays and Fridays. Damashek is doing an exceptional job. That is how he starts the latest rendition of Football America. Can you get me the stat of the day music, please, so I could get to some basketball stats with Jeremy?
Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day.
What do you have, Jeremy?
3 stats for you, Dan. First on Nikola Jokic. In NBA history, only one player has reached all of the following marks before the All-Star break in a given season. 1,000 points, 475 rebounds, 400 assists, 250 made free throws, 75 threes, 30 blocks. That one player is Jokic. He missed 16 games.
I was just going to say, how did he do all of that if he missed time for the first time in a while?
16 games.
Yeah. I'm telling you that he doesn't get in the discussion of best offensive players there have ever been because he's 7 feet tall. We prefer those people be 6'6".
I don't know if it's that. I think it's because he looks like a loaf of bread.
The Oklahoma City Thunder are on pace to be the 3rd NBA team to outscore their opponents by 10-plus points per game in consecutive seasons. That joins the Warriors in their historic run, the Bulls in their historic run. But they also have 8 losses as a double-digit favorite in their first 56 games, the most of any team in the last 30 years.
And what is the third stat of the day?
Bronny James was 105 days old when LeBron James recorded his first career triple-double. He's a 21-year-old who played in the same game for LeBron's 123rd career triple-double as he became the oldest player ever.
Well, so last night what he ends up doing, he assists and or scores each of the first 23 points in the game. That's the longest stretch he's ever had of doing that against Dallas, or what remains of the Dallas Mavericks that was playing yesterday. Dominique is staying with us here for a little bit. He has decided to thrust Charlie upon us as well. Where were you guys playing memory games? I've heard you lament here recently that you're aging. We've been making fun of Greg Cody saying he should do the show from a memory unit because he just misplaces some things that should be easy for him to remember. What's going on with your memory?
Greg just missed the mic. First of all, we should appreciate how incredible Greg was last segment. That was awesome. Sorry, Dan, you're going to lose him for the rest of the show.
Yeah,
Thank
you, Dominic.
Great job. That was incredible. I might have to take a QK at some point in this segment because I've been drinking a lot of coffee.
Yes,
but
thank you.
The point.
Why are you saying thank you? Because he might have to take a quick crap later. Why are you saying thank you to that?
Because I invented quick crap. Anytime anybody takes some, I get my little vig.
Where's my big vig?
Thank you. Yes.
You got it. You're welcome.
And you know it.
Beautiful soup. All right.
You're welcome.
God, that man's talented. Wow, that man's a talent. I remember I used to hate Greg. Like 6 years ago, hated him.
Yeah, why
Didn't
was
get
that?
it.
Why was that?
I was just jealous of your talent, I think, more than anything. I was jealous of your talent, and Arlene is fine as hell. It made me upset. That's all. I was like, why does he deserve all of this?
I know. I think that.
Tell her I said hi, by the way.
Thank you. I will.
Your memory. You forgot that I was asking you a question about your memory.
No. I'm getting to that. Relax, man. Relax. Take a load off, Dan.
Relax
Stop
yourself.
stressing. You be all right, man. Cool. Deep breath. All right, you good? You good? All right, chill out. Me and Charlie got you, all right? Both of us. So I was saying that this time of year is one of my favorite times of year because we are not beholden by the NFL calendar anymore. And, of course, podcasts are incredibly easy when you got football season. But right now, it's fun time. And so our show yesterday was Charlie is a list guy. I don't know if you know this about Charlie, but he has a bunch of ridiculous lists on his phone. But one of the lists that he has on his phone that we did yesterday was the top 25 moments sports moments in the last 25 years. That's right?
Yeah, that's right. But we didn't finish the list because Dominique just left number 13.
QK,
so
baby.
from the 25th to the 13th best sporting event.
We'll do the rest on the Monday show. We'll record a Sunday night. But what I realized was in preparation for that show, I was looking at Charlie's list, and I was going back, watching highlights and watching portions of those games. And there were so many of those events that I misremembered. And it reminded me of Greg and how you guys give him a hard time about his memory because I did not. So, for instance, the game where I'm sure you guys all remember when Tua came in to that game, the national championship game, and won it out of nowhere over Georgia and Alabama. And maybe this is just me, but do you remember when he came in that game? Because I remember it being, I conflated it with when Jalen Hurts came back in the following year in the SEC championship game, and I thought that Tua came in the fourth quarter, but he didn't. He actually came in at halftime. And then I also forgot how athletic Tua was and how strong his arm used to be. That was sad. Sorry, Dolphins fans.
Dominique, a quick bit of unsolicited advice. When you're doing a top 25 list, what you have to do is one number per week to drag it out for a half a year. So that's what you got to do right there.
This man knows how to off-season.
Damn
knows
right.
how to off-season.
Damn right.
So you got through 12 and your memory was faulty on all of it? Because that's true. All I remember is that it was third and forever, and I just remember, how did Georgia allow that receiver to get that wide open? Was it Waddle? Who was the receiver that got
Devontae Smith.
that? How did he get that wide open when it's third? And wasn't it like 3rd and 30-something?
Yeah, because you have a better memory than me because I had forgotten that the first play of overtime, Tua got sacked, and Georgia had just hit a really long field goal. Tua got sacked on the first play of overtime. It felt like it was over, and then the very next play, they bombed to Devontae Smith. There were a ton of incredible freshmen in that game. You forget when you watch those games how many great players or how many players that went on to play in the NFL and be number 1 overall picks. And that also reminds you of like a previous time in college football and college sports that we're not going to go back to. We remember, was it Chris Davis? No, it was Chris. Was the shot the
You'll
big
get there.
shot that we had from
Chris Jenkins?
Chris Jenkins. Big
Chris
shot.
Jenkins.
See? My memory is rough, guys. It's all right, Cody. Don't let him pick on you. It's hard memory.
Well, no, this is precisely the reason to keep a Charlie around. The only one I've been able to discern in all my time knowing Charlie is that he can do what he just did with Devontae Smith when I'm confusing him with Waddle because he's good at that. But that's all he's good at.
My emotional support human.
He does a good Dan
Also,
impression, actually.
Yeah, you did call Trinidad Chambliss an economy, and I started squealing next to Dominique. It's like we had to immediately get into the offseason reruns. Dominique's about to call things monopsonies and cartels, exploited bodies. But, Dan, I will give you credit. You have an incredible memory for, like, every single video of a nut shot, someone falling over, slipping on ice, whatever. Like,
Yeah,
we did that for almost a decade, and you remembered every single clip.
Well, the biggest arguments I had with Pardon the Interruption when I'd go up there and host the show for them is like, why aren't we leading with the bear dropping onto the trampoline from a tree? Like, why wouldn't we lead with that? And they're like, well, it's a sports show. And I'm like, yeah, but you've got a bear falling out of a tree and it's landing on a trampoline and it's being surprised that because of its weight, it's now springing off of the trampoline. That's something that we have to play. Why wouldn't we lead the show with that? And they're like, well, because it's a sports show.
And PTI has 700,000 viewers a day, and we're sitting in a basement talking to you, and you're talking to me.
We had Last time we came down and hosted, we brought some gifts. One of them was Dan Bingo. We had some cards that we wanted you guys to keep, and economies was one of them. So when we listen to the show, we play Dan Bingo at the go-tos. And the off-season is the best time for those sorts of things. One of those other things is a gift that I want to leave with you guys that we're going to call the virtue signal. And we love when Dan gets out there and signals. And it's not just Dan. That was the Dan impression peeking through right there. That's it. When Dan decides the virtue signal.
Wait a second.
When we got to put the virtue signal up. Virtue signal.
What are you guys doing with the lower half of my body there?
Why'd you make him so slim?
Why are you making me Bill Parcells?
Nice
what is happening there?
More Charlie Weiss for
with
me.
what it is that you guys are doing there.
That's a good likeness.
So just to be clear, your producer, what he seized on Trinidad Chambliss was an economy, and not you saying that not you defending Joe Judge for saying, hey, pregnant lady, don't wake up the quarterback. The quarterback's got to sleep. And you left out part of the quote, which is, go into another room and get detached from the pregnant woman. Get detached from the child. Oh, you guys, get that off. Get that! Don't do that!
Pill, Dan.
Don't do that! That's not.
Big fat Dan.
Tiny hands.
That's beautiful.
All right, get rid of Dominique. Get rid of Charlie. Get them out of here.
One last thing. Watch the Chuck video. Show the Chuck video. You guys see the Chuck video before we go. Show the Chuck video. We'll go. And we don't have any sound on it. Mina was there. She was yelling and
screaming.
And watch this guy Chuck.
Nate
impressive.
Tice was there being like, the only person who can compete with him is Travis Frederick.
Yeah,
So Mina says
we'll
she doesn't even know that person's name and never wants to know his name, only knows him as the Chugger, correct?
And he's got a son that he said his son puts away milk in the same way. He said he's got potential. Little Chuggy June. All right, we'll leave now.
All right,
Bye,
see you
Dan.
later.
Love you.
The Dominique Foxworth Show also features Charlie. I encourage you to check it out because, as I said, Mina's one of the people doing it very well now. Dominique, Chris Long, Chris Sims, they're among the best that I've heard, having the range to give you both excellent football analysis, but also entertainment. Are you guys doing anything with the Winter Olympics? Are you guys getting sucked in? Because there are a lot of people watching the Winter Olympics. Like the ratings are the best that they've been for that in more than a decade. People are going, hunting down the streamers. It's not just that they're watching it on linear television, and the numbers are going crazy. But South Florida typically just does not do winter sports well. And so I don't find that anybody that I'm walking around into is talking about or interested in anything going on with the Winter Olympics. And I don't feel like you guys are watching any of this either.
I'm casually watching it. I'm not going to act like I'm a diehard for any of these sports or that, I'm obviously rooting for USA and all of them. But like last night I'm watching half pipe snowboard racing. Like I'm into it. It's great to have on. But I'm not like a Jessica who's like waking up to see it live. I love the 8 to 11 replay. Give me the best of the day. And just put it on and just watch it like I watch golf on the weekend.
Well, one of the objections that I was having to what it is that basketball gave us last night is, come on, basketball, you have the stage to yourself among the professional sports. Hockey is off at the Olympics. Football is over. Baseball has not yet begun. Here, basketball is time for your showcase with the All-Star game and whatever is left of your regular season games. But basketball ends up dropping the ball, at least in part, because we love the storylines in basketball, but I think they're over in the Winter Olympics. If you want bite-sized cubes of sports being great just because you don't care necessarily about, you don't have to put in any investment over the last 4 years. Tune in here. This person has been working for 4 years to entertain you for the next 3 minutes. Like in terms of condensing sports into something that can keep your attention for the perfect amount of time in short attention span generation, the Olympics is perfect for it. Just do it quickly, give me quick stories, wrap them in a bow, and that's why everybody loves to have the Olympics to televise. It's why it's so profitable.
I absolutely love it for the oddities of it. To me, curling is a mind blower. Skeleton is terrifying. It's an actual sport called skeleton. You got the best U.S. male figure skater doing backflips on the ice. There's insane stuff to see.
Baseball, as I mentioned, pitchers and catchers are reporting. I was surprised to see Nick Castellanos, although he pronounces his Castellanos. I was surprised to see that he was just outright waived. Didn't he have the last year of a big contract?
$20
in
million.
Philadelphia?
$20 million, yeah.
So what happened there? What is the backstory on what happened there? He was a very popular player in Philadelphia.
Yeah, so he started to struggle and had been pretty consistently being replaced late in games for defensive purposes.
Is he the Tua of the MLB? Like just like had a good time where this was like decent, but then just got a big contract and then.
That's more Anthony Rendon. Like Castellanos still had some success at the beginning of that stretch with the Phillies, but late in last season, he had a moment in Miami where he was taken out of the game. He's from down here. He was taken out of the game as a defensive replacement, and then went and got a beer from the clubhouse and brought it out and sat in the dugout and basically used it as a means to sort of scold his manager and put him down for the lack of discipline in other areas of the team. And
what do you mean? Like sat next to his manager with a beer and
Yep.
started scolding him for all the things that he was doing wrong in managing the team?
Yes, and he actually wrote a handwritten letter yesterday after being cut by the Phillies that he posted to his Instagram, both like thanking his teammates, thanking the organization, thanking, all of the fans, but then also explaining what he referred to as the Miami incident because he was benched after that. And he claimed, I wanted to tell the media what had happened in this scenario, why I wasn't going to be playing, but the team basically told me not to. I was advised not to. And so this is where we end up, where he's cut now right before spring training.
Would we think less of that statement if it was typed? Like, did he think he was like, this will have more gravity?
We also can't
if I
read
post
it. Like, I can't read the handwriting.
He
I gotta
posted
zoom
that
in.
on Instagram of like, look,
Would we think more of it? Is that what you're asking?
My point is just type it. It's 2026.
I
Why
disagree.
are you handwriting that?
No, the penmanship was pretty good. I'm more apt to read that or try to decipher because sometimes it's not always as easy as typewriting.
Just type it though. Like what? I just don't get the like. He in his mind was like, all right, I have a thought here, and this will be executed.
Well, what does it say? I can't read it from here, and it's fairly rare, okay? I know that the Angels negotiated a buyout on the last year of Rendon's contract, and that Rendon is the symbol for cashing in and checking out. But it's rare around the guaranteed money of baseball for a popular player to be waived in spring training when he's owed a guaranteed $20 million that they have to give him. No negotiations on a buyout. I don't know whether he had any trade value or not. Probably not at that price tag. But you must be done with somebody in a way that is total for you to waive him right before the season starts when you owe him a guaranteed $20 million.
I was really surprised that it was right now as opposed to at the end of the year. And maybe there was something that offsets, but they owe him the $20 million outside of the prorated minimum for veterans. So it's essentially almost $20 million. The quote that he wrote was, after being taken out of a close ball game in front of my friends and family, I brought a Presidente into the dugout. I then sat right next to Rob and let him know that too much slack in some areas and too tight of restrictions in others was not conducive to us winning. And then said, after meeting with Dombrowski and meeting with Thompson, quote, we aired out our differences and the conversation ended with me apologizing for letting my emotions get the best of me. He also added that he was benched the next game as punishment.
You gotta go Miller Lite there instead of that other beer.
Well, but you cannot lecture your manager in the dugout about his rules while holding a beer.
Wild.
You can't.
Like, you
do
never
that.
see that.
No.
And he said his teammates and some of the bench coaches came up and stopped him before he actually drank the beer.
Oh, yeah, because if that gets on the camera, if TV has even a second of that, it's the scandal it never was.
Castellanos has had a very nice career and earned the contract that Dombrowski and Philadelphia gave him. But I will forever associate him with both the pandemic and the single funniest sports thing that happened during the pandemic. And this is a hard number of ingredients to have together, but it's a totally empty ballpark. It's the essential end of Tom Brenneman's broadcasting career because he's been caught on a live mic making a gay slur, and now he's apologizing for it, but also respecting the action, and Nick Castellanos hitting a home run as Brenneman is apologizing.
Castellanos to lead things off. Jim Day's going to be taking us the rest of the way through this game as Holland takes over on the mound. I made a comment earlier tonight that I guess went out over the air that I am deeply ashamed of. If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I'm going to apologize for the people who signed my paycheck, for the Reds, for Fox Sports Ohio, for the people I work with, for anybody that I've offended here tonight. I can't begin to tell you how deeply sorry I am. That is not who I am and never has been. And I'd like to think maybe I could have some people that could back that up. I am very, very sorry, and I beg for your forgiveness. Jim Day will take you the rest of the way home.
Do you realize how bad your luck has to be broadcasting the end of your career and have happened behind you the quietest home run ever hit in a major league game? That home run, I want to play the whole thing again, and I just want you guys to notice both the sound of the bat, and also how quiet it is. You can't quite hear the ball rattling around in an empty left field, but how quiet it is after the sound of the bat, and he's trying to reach for the most heartfelt of the apology.
Castellanos to lead things off. Jim Day's going to be taking us the rest of the way through this game as Holland takes over on the mound. I made a comment earlier tonight that I guess went out over the air that I am deeply ashamed of. If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I'm going to apologize for the people who signed my paycheck, for the Reds, for Fox Sports Ohio, for the people I work with, for anybody that I've offended here tonight. I can't begin to tell you how deeply sorry I am. That is not who I am and never has been. And I'd like to think maybe I could have some people that could back that up. I am very, very sorry, and I beg for your forgiveness. Jim Day will take you the rest of the way home.
What can Castellanos do the rest of his career to make it so that that's not the first thing I think of whenever I think of Castellanos? Is there anything?
Nothing.
Nothing. He may have just done it with that Presidente in the dugout, I have to say.
We won't even remember that in 6 months. The Brenneman call lives forever.
I wanted to ask you guys something based on what it is that Ernest Jones did earlier this week. The linebacker for the Seahawks introduced himself to many people by saying, if you have anything bad to say, this was at the parade, he's just saying, if you have anything bad to say about anybody on my team, bleep you. It had no subtlety in it as far as a message goes. He was just telling everybody who's a critic of his team, bleep you. But I wanted Let's play that sound real quick for the people again, just so that they have the context of this, because there are middle fingers in the background. When you get to win the championship, you end up being the person with the last word on all things. And in this instance, the last words are bleep you. But there's a Seahawk pantomiming a spanking of a person, and they're feeling themselves here as Ernest Jones does this.
Shout out to these badass motherfuckers who play this game the right way. Hey, not only do we have the best defense in the world, we got the best team in the world. And quite frankly, if you got anything to say about my quarterback, you got anything to say about my defense, you got anything to say about my O-line, and you got anything to say about the city of Seattle, I got 2 words for you. You.
So not very likable, unless perhaps you're a Seahawk fan. But the thing that I wanted to ask you guys about, because I mentioned this earlier, and you guys said, well, let's see what happens in the Super Bowl. We're in agreement, right, that by a factor of I don't know how many, tens, hundreds, thousands, there is no Seahawk who's been more doubted than their quarterback, correct? Like, correct. Of what, I don't know what the factor would have to be on whoever is your second place doubted Seahawk, but the one who's been publicly doubted the most is Sam Darnold, and didn't do any of that. Never did any of that, and saying, you doubted me, F you, what about you, I showed you. There's no defiance in any of what he was doing as the most doubted among them. I understand why the Seahawks, I guess, would do that, although I don't feel like we were doubting anybody but their quarterback. It's not like there was a lot of poison spit at that defense. Everybody was talking all year about how good that defense is.
Yeah, and the funny thing to me is that Sam Darnold did not have a spectacular game. They didn't win because of Sam Darnold, and it's pretty unusual for a Super Bowl winning quarterback to not be the MVP, but he wasn't. And I think, but still, he gets to bathe in the perfume of being a Super Bowl champion now. His whole status lifts. It lifts like helium, like a helium balloon.
Let's talk about for a second, though, what kind of defiance would leak out of everyone listening to this and all the people here if there had been several organizations that didn't have a use for you, if there had been every week on television someone doubting you as the only thing that's going to hold that team back from actually winning the championship. The reason that that team was thought of as a team that could not win the championship was because of their quarterback. I find it interesting that for all the athletes who have a chip on their shoulder about that stuff and have to manufacture some sort of everyone's against me, everyone's doubting me, I have to overcome it, Sam Darnold hasn't given voice to any of that. There hasn't been any acid spit at anybody after having to listen to a year or years of you're not good enough, you're not good enough. In the moment that he wins, I would have expected some defiance to leak out, no matter how much of a veneer of I'm the quarterback who's never going to bring any controversy. I would think in the moment of the emotion of I proved everyone wrong, none of that.
Right.
It's surprising to me. It's legitimately surprising to me if that doesn't exist in him somewhere, and yet I'm left to wonder, is he muffling it? Or does it really not exist? He understands the position's hard. He understands that a lot of things go into winning. He understands that he's 31-7 in his last 38 games. And no bleep you for anybody? For nobody? He's got no bleep you on any of the quotes. It's Ernest Jones out here introducing himself to us by telling everyone to bleep off when no one was questioning Ernest Jones or his teammates on the defensive side of the ball.
It's the most self-control. If it is being, depressed and suppressed back into his psyche or into his ego, like it is the most egoless quarterback and the most egoless professional athlete we've ever seen. Because if you've been on 5 different teams, if you were playing in a graveyard in Carolina, all of a sudden you win the Super Bowl, you're one of the best quarterbacks the last 2 years, nobody's had a better record than you, you'd expect something to be said. I haven't heard, have we seen him since?
He was on the teacups. He was on the teacups with Kenneth Walker. That's where we saw him, but we haven't seen a whole lot of quotes that have anything on them.
Yeah, and he wasn't looking real thrilled in that teacup.
Nobody is.
Makes you dizzy.
It sort of does, but the disrespect was real. Right before the Super Bowl, somebody in the media, I can't recall who, had a list ranking him the 12th best starting quarterback in the NFC, 12th best out of 16 teams. I sort of like that he took the high road on that and let his teammates speak for him.
I think there's a world where he's also self-aware and maybe just looks at the situation he was drafted into, thought, you know what? I did have an opportunity to succeed. I failed. Like, I didn't do a good job. And now I've grown through all these different stops. I got opportunities to play. I got opportunities to grow. Now I had the best possible opportunity, an incredible defense. And you know what? I led my team here, but I'm just grateful, not scorned.
Yeah, I would have appreciated that honesty more than I would him now saying, that's for everybody who doubted me. F you. You know, I don't need that. It's fine that a teammate stands up for him, but I like the high road that he's taken.
Okay, you can like the high road. I'm really asking the question about how rare it is, because you just said disrespect. Sam Darnold he's 31-7. Everybody else in that league, when they win, we say that's a quarterback stat. That's the reason they won. He's 31-7 over his last 38 games. So that's not merely winning. It's winning more than anyone in the sport has over the last 2 years. He's been disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
He's not absorbed that disrespect in a way that comes out as disrespect you. It's surprising to me. Validation is a very basic human need. Like everyone likes applause. For the winning to be enough for Sam Darnold and him not have any defiant bleep off, and just where competitive people reside. Like, just if you've ever met whoever is in your life the most competitive person, Sam Darnold's more competitive than that, okay? To do what those people do, the most competitive people in your life pale in comparison to the ones who win competitions against all the other most competitive people in the world. He gets disrespected throughout that for years. You're the reason your team can't win. Those weren't organizational failures with you. You're the organizational failure. Now he gets to say, no, I'm not, and he doesn't. He can say, no, the Jets were wrong about me. Carolina was wrong about me. How many athletes are carrying themselves with the gratitude that doesn't leak out as defiance there? I don't even understand what Ernest Jones is defiant about. Like, he's doing it in defense of Sam Darnold as if he is Sam Darnold. The person who is Sam Darnold's not doing that. And to me, it would be a very human thing to have it leak out in places here and there where you're simply hurt that people didn't think more of you, and you would come out and feel the need to explain, hey, I'm 31-7 in my last 38. You let the record speak for itself? I think he's doing that. You like that he's taking the high road. I don't hear a whole lot of people celebrating him for it. Like, I don't hear a whole lot of people even noticing that that's the tact that he's decided to take as a path.
Yeah, I think he's owning the Super Bowl ring as enough for him right now. I really do. I don't think he needs anything more than the satisfaction he gets from being on the mountaintop. And I also think there's probably a part of him who realizes, I didn't win this game, my defense did. When you have the best defense in the league, you have a perceived crutch that you don't even require maybe, but it is a crutch. Defense wins. The defense won that Super Bowl for them. I'm the winning quarterback who didn't even win MVP because I was a little bit of a passenger.
He had a lot of turnovers this season.
He did, but he also gave Jackson Smith and Jigba the best season of a wide receiver in the last couple of years. And, like, he was a big part of that offense clicking and working with the running game, like the scheme that they wanted to run with Click Kubiak. Like, he was a very big part of it. Maybe the one sample size of the Super Bowl, yeah, the defense ended up winning that because they completely decimated the Patriots. But, like, Sam Darnold had a big part of
Look, he beat the Rams. He beat the MVP of the league. He was better than the MVP of the league, and for all of his turnovers, that team was better at explosive plays than the great majority of them, and that can't be unless your quarterback is somebody who's producing those explosive plays. I'm telling you that among athletes that I've seen throughout time, I've seen very few doubted the way that Sam Darnold was, who get the victory moment and don't allow any of the ego, pride, champion, athlete defiance to come out as acid.